Greetings to all of humanity. It's really my joy, my pleasure to be greeting you and reaching out to you as usual, bringing this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. Now, I want to take this moment to speak to you concerning Neville Goddard and Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti. Okay, as you know, Neville Goddard was taught by the black mystic from Ethiopia by the name of Abdullah. And so Abdullah taught Neville Goddard the power of love, and because of how powerful it was, it changed Neville Goddard forever. And so he began to speak concerning how the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. And it exposed the virgin birth of Jesus Christ from Mary as secular history to be the greatest lie ever told to humanity. So while Neville was lecturing, a woman asked Neville a question concerning reincarnation. And Neville began to explain to the woman concerning a man by the name of Krishnamurti. And he says that that man, Krishnamurti, came on the scene at a time when they were seeking to have a world teacher, a world speaker concerning consciousness or the love consciousness. And he said that they wanted to make this man, Krishnamurti, a god to represent the people of the world. Just like how they give the world Jesus, an idol to worship. And it's very hard to get melanated people or black people to get rid of such an idol out of their mind. And so Neville began to rebuke the woman and show her that at a certain time, this same Krishnamurti had enough strength or enough guts in him to tell the people that he was not God, the Creator. In other words, he had enough guts to tell them not to look for God outside of themselves. But to be honest with you, all of that was a part of the agenda to exclude melanated people of ever discovering their true identity. Because Neville went on to show the lady that Annie Besant and others, they were behind establishing this man Krishnamurti. And so when he died, many was teaching the reincarnation of Krishnamurti, and they included every other race except a Negro. One time, this man was a reincarnation of Krishnamurti, and then this other man was a reincarnation of Krishnamurti, as long as it's not a black man, a melanated man. So Neville was teaching this woman that there can never be any true spirituality or enlightened ones who will ever speak the law of consciousness based on bias or based on prejudice. Because true awakening and enlightenment is all about discovering that your true identity is your divinity. It's all about understanding that we are the people of the sun. It's all about understanding that nothing could be complete as long as it has the exclusion of a black man. So Neville was showing this woman they had the wrong concept of reincarnation. Because if you're going to believe in reincarnation, you have to see the reincarnation of a Christ man who is a black man. You have to see one who's melanated, who would restore a people again, pointing them to look inwardly, to discover that their real identity is their divinity. And you know, you look at so many people talking about Neville Goddard and trying to teach the law of consciousness, yet they're hiding something. Yet they still have prejudice. Yet they still have fear. Yet they're still compromising based on false identity. Because they were taught as little children to think a certain way about a certain people and to see them a certain way. So in our culture, our parents, our teachers, our politicians, the pastors, they all were put in place to program our subconscious mind from a very young age to believe in a God outside of ourselves and to look to the white man as our savior and our redeemer by believing the idol that they give to us called Jesus that never existed. And then on the other side, there was another set of people teaching their children that they are better than another people, that they are superior. And Neville was rebuking all of that. And many people listened to that lecture and listened to that woman asking Neville the question, and many failed to realize how deep that correction was. And I'm saying all of this to prove that what I would have written in my book, The Black Mystic from Ethiopia, this book, Neville Goddard Mentor, that everything that I was inspired to write in this book, it's been played out right now. Because of what has been taking place in America right now concerning death of George Floyd. And because of that, right now, I was able to see so much things that were there on the internet that I didn't even know that they were there. How the police was targeting black men, black women. I didn't even know about Abu Arbery, I think is the name. And when I look now on the internet, it's countless. And I'm like, it's like I can't believe people can have that kind of mentality about the other race of people when there's actually only one race, which is the human race. But all along, I've been asking my question, I've been asking myself the question, what is it these people are hiding? But I know, even Neville Wikipedia, they take it down and hide certain things, but I know what they would have hidden. And I've never said it before. There's a reason why Neville only say Abdullah. Abdullah could be anyone. And many people ask for more information on Abdullah. Many people ask, have Abdullah written any book? And fail to understand that state of consciousness. Fail to understand that awakening one. Fail to understand a melanated Christ in their midst. One who have been risen from the dead. One who would have experienced the virgin birth. They miss all of that and fail to realize when they see books like this and all the other books that I've written, they're seeing books written by Abdullah. Because many are seeing Abdullah just as a man in the flesh who existed before and missing the frequency, missing the real story of their identity and how they are to use reverse psychology to live in peace and harmony. They failed to realize in 1933 when Abdullah was giving Neville the key that a book was written called The Miseducation of the Negro. And so there's so much people who want to talk about consciousness, want to talk about oneness, want to talk about the universe, want to talk about manifest, but no one want to adjust the agenda of the law of attraction and what it was really all about. Way in there at the end, at least he was willing to say that he refused to be a part of the secret. Because he knew the agenda. And even him, when he was alive, he spoke about Nevill, never spoke of anything about Abdullah. And there are many on the internet, they'll never speak about Abdullah. They will never put a black man on a pedestal. But Abdullah taught Nevill concerning the Sphinx and the pyramid. And Abdullah taught Nevill that when a man comes to know his true identity, that he would know that racial divide, that is all an illusion, and he would be in control of his emotion. Many people emotion are going wild, looting, burning, and that's what they want. But everything is just for a time. The Ark of the Covenant has come back. That is why Nevill was saying, how could you speak of a full circle, a 360 move, completeness, reincarnation, but yet you exclude a black man. How could you speak about manifestation? How could you speak about consciousness? How could you speak about love? Yet, you're holding the secret that you were taught from a child that you was better than another. And that deliberately our people were given an idol to worship that doesn't even look like them. As I sit here and I reach out to you, they're missionaries who always, in countries like my country, deliberately feeding the people with the belief of an idol, deliberately. I'm speaking from experience. I've confronted them many times. And because I know what are their weakness, they have to reveal everything to me. You see, they have studied black people's weakness, as I was said before in a video. And they know it's all about entertainment. But I know their weakness is pride. And I play that game with them and get them to confess to me that they know that Jesus is just a representation of the S-U-N. I get them to confess to me when I look them in their face and I say, I am God. Who are you? Declare to me that they are God. I wasn't pleased about it. When I asked the question, so why are you telling my people to believe in Joseph Smith? Why are you telling my people to believe in the last testament of Jesus? They couldn't answer. And I can go on and on of the many experiences. But my whole message is that they always want to give the world a universal teacher, a universal man. That's why so many want to spread the Neville Goddard narrative. We have to see on both sides. The law of consciousness was taught first by the original people. It was first taught by our ancestors. We shared the wisdom and we paid the price for sharing such a wisdom. It only takes a fool not to see what I'm saying. There's no way anyone in this world can ever understand originally the law of consciousness and enslave a people. Can never happen. But if a people who knows the law of consciousness share such wisdom with a people who do not know, they can take that same energy and misuse it on you, brainwash you, enslave you by killing off those first who knew the secret. But the DNA is always there, and there must always be a return. And there have been, and there is a return. That is why I'm saying to you, you can never educate a man to be a universal man. It's only the born again experience can bring a man to be the universal man. The man who will stand on top of the pyramid. And that is why they make sure to put that eye above the pyramid, the eye of the mystic. The language and the bloodline could not be removed. There will always be that language and that bloodline. So those who were captive and they were returned and they were told to say shibboleth and they couldn't pronounce the word properly, it's the language. They couldn't speak the language. But there are those who knew the language. Everything is right there in the book. But only those who have eyes to see would see. So my brother and my sisters, as I bring this message to you, Neville, as I said before, was saying you can never have true awakening and true reincarnation without you first involve everyone, because the black man is also God having a human experience. So whenever you think about reincarnation and you think of a Christ, don't just see a white man or an Indian man or a Chinese man or a Japanese man. See the black man also. That was Neville's message to that woman who asked that question about reincarnation. And that is why many who are on the internet teaching the law, they can never teach the promise, because the promise must be known only by experience. And many are only doing it for $1. So, with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, those of you who are listening to me, and if you are listening to me for the very first time, and what I'm saying to you, if it makes sense to you, if it resonates with you, then it is for you. Because this message must be done out of love, with no compromise, no favoritism. We gotta be real, because God is real. And God is the life in me. You can't separate God from life or life from God. Everything around me reflects me. I look at the earth, it reflects me. It looks just like me. That is why the people who look like me can't believe in a heaven, in the sky, when the horses are white. The Christ or the God He gave them to believe is white. And there are white churches and black churches, yet they're claiming to go to one heaven. It's all a joke. It's all mockery. And in times like these, when things like the killing of George Floyd, all these conscious men who are supposed to be conscious teachers, teaching people consciousness, who want to mentor people, all at once, they're silent. Why? They can't face the truth. So, as I would have said before, if you haven't subscribed already, to subscribe, to like, to share, or to comment. Let me end here by saying that this message I bring to you, it is the single eye message of Matthew 6:22. where it says, as a matter of fact, let me just run that again. It is the single-eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 says that if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. My brothers and my sisters, hadn't it been that a single eye opened within me, when I experienced a great mighty shaking, and I ascend like a fiery being, having heard the unholy wind, and rolled the stone away, and came out of my skull, became invisible, and come to realize that my body is the tomb in which the Christ is buried, I wouldn't have been here bringing this message to you. And saying to you that the greatest lie that has been ever fed to all of humanity is the virgin birth story of a white Jesus. It's the greatest lie, it's the greatest thing that ever been done to humanity. And those who cannot face this truth cannot face themselves. Because it's a lie, it's been a lie. And because it gives you certain privilege, doesn't mean you have to be silent concerning the truth. And that is why I always say, I will always say, do not let anyone deceive you to make you believe that the eye above the pyramid is some evil all-seeing eye of some Lucifer. They want you to believe. It is the all-seeing eye of God in you, who is your imagination. For you will have an awakened imagination. And then you will understand why I will put my hand above my crown chakra, saying to you that when you have the experience of the new birth, the real birth, the virgin birth, the resurrection, you will understand that everything takes place in one night. And you will come to realize that that experience is the rising of the S-U-N and a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For the sun parallels the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun there is no life and there is no light. Without the human imagination there is anything made that was made. Therefore, the sun is what powers all of humanity. And you are told in Psalm 84:11 that the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And the sun has never withheld any good thing from you. And in Malachi 1:2 also you are told that the sun of righteousness shall arise in you with healing in his wings. And truly the sun has risen in me with healing for all of humanity. Saying to you that the greatest lie that I've ever been told is the Jesus story. It's the white man idol to control and enslave. And such a lie must be exposed. That is why my message to you, out of love, is to use your mind power, which is your solar power, your sun power, your God power, your creative power, which is the sexual power, to achieve your every desire, because there's more than enough in the world. You don't have to live in greed. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.